Have you ever witnessed a moment so raw and honest that it changed someone's life forever? That's exactly what happened when Sarah's casual comment about love received an unexpected response from the quiet single father working in her department. If this story touches your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more real stories that remind us what truly matters in life. Sarah Matthews drummed her manicured nails against the polished conference table, scanning the quarterly reports with a critical eye. At 38, she had everything she'd ever wanted professionally: executive position at Reynolds Marketing, corner office with a view of the city skyline, and the respect of everyone in the industry. Yet something was missing, a void she rarely acknowledged even to herself. "Let's break for lunch," she announced, closing her laptop with a decisive click. "We'll reconvene at 2 to finalize the campaign strategy." The team dispersed quickly, eager for their midday reprieve. Only James Parker lingered, organizing his notes with methodical precision. Sarah had hired him 6 months ago despite reservations from HR about his complicated situation. A single father of 2 young children after his wife's death 3 years prior, James had gaps in his resume that would normally disqualify him. But something in his portfolio had impressed her, a creative spark that outshone candidates with more consistent work histories. "James, do you have a minute?" Sarah asked, surprising herself with the impulse. He looked up, his expression carefully neutral. "Of course, Ms. Matthews. Please, it's Sarah when we're not in meetings." She gestured to the chair beside her. "How are you settling in? I noticed your proposal for the Westfield account showed impressive insight." A hint of pride crossed his face. "Thank you. I've been studying their market position for weeks. There's an untapped demographic they're missing entirely." Their conversation flowed easily into marketing strategies, then gradually shifted to more personal territory. James mentioned his daughter's upcoming dance recital, his eyes softening as he spoke about 7-year-old Emma. "She's been practicing every night. Even helps her little brother Michael try the moves, though he's only 4 and mostly just spins in circles until he falls down." James chuckled, the sound warm and genuine. Sarah found herself smiling. "You must be very proud of them." "They're my whole world," he said simply. "After Diane died, I wasn't sure how we'd manage, but those kids, they give me strength I never knew I had." The raw honesty in his voice touched something in Sarah. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed with a notification from her assistant about an urgent call. "I should take this," she said reluctantly. "But thank you for sharing that, James. It's refreshing." That evening, Sarah made an uncharacteristic decision to join the team dinner at Bellini's, an upscale Italian restaurant downtown. Usually, she maintained professional distance, but something about her conversation with James had left her craving human connection. The restaurant hummed with conversation and the gentle clink of silverware against fine china. Sarah arrived fashionably late, spotting her team at a long table near the back. James sat at the far end, looking slightly uncomfortable in the elegant setting but handsome in a navy button-down that brought out the blue in his eyes. As Sarah approached, she overheard him speaking quietly on his phone. "Yes, sweetheart, I promise I'll be home to tuck you in." "No, Emma, the monsters can't get you if Mr. Snuggles is standing guard. I love you to the moon and back times infinity +1. He ended the call with a soft smile that transformed his entire face, unaware of Sarah watching. Something twisted in her chest, not pity, but a profound admiration for this man who balanced professional ambition with such devoted parenting. Taking her seat at the head of the table, Sarah joined the lively conversation about weekend plans and office gossip. 2 glasses of wine later, the atmosphere had relaxed considerably, with even the most junior team members contributing to the banter. The discussion turned to relationships when Melissa from graphic design announced her recent engagement, proudly displaying a sparkling diamond ring. "He proposed at sunrise on the beach," she gushed. "Had the whole thing planned for months, photographer hidden behind some rocks, champagne breakfast, even remembered to bring tissues for when I inevitably cried." The table erupted in congratulations and demands for details. Sarah offered appropriate well wishes, ignoring the familiar hollow feeling in her stomach. Her last relationship had ended 2 years ago when her boyfriend of 8 months complained that her work always came first. He wasn't wrong. "That's real dedication," commented Ryan from accounts. "My girlfriend gets mad if I forget to text when I'm running 10 minutes late." "It's about priorities," James said quietly, speaking up for the first time since dinner began. "When you truly love someone, you pay attention to what matters to them." Sarah found herself nodding. "That's insightful, James. I think many relationships fail because people don't make each other a priority." "Speaking from experience, boss," teased Melissa, emboldened by celebration and wine. Instead of her usual deflection, Sarah surprised herself with honesty. "Perhaps. My track record isn't exactly stellar. Career women like me often struggle to find partners who understand our ambition." "Or maybe you just haven't found someone who loves you the right way," suggested James, then immediately looked down at his plate as if regretting his boldness. The comment hung in the air for a moment before conversation resumed. Sarah found herself stealing glances at James throughout the meal, noticing details she'd overlooked before, the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled, how he listened intently to whoever was speaking, the quiet confidence beneath his reserved demeanor. As dessert arrived, Sarah's phone lit up with a text from her mother, showing a photo of her sister's family, husband, 3 children, and a golden retriever arranged in picture-perfect harmony on their suburban porch. "Everything okay?" asked James, noticing her expression change. Sarah showed him the photo. "My sister's annual Christmas card preview. She likes to get my mother's approval before sending them out." "They look happy," he observed. "They are," Sarah sighed. "Sometimes I wonder if I made the right choices. Don't get me wrong, I love my career, but nights like this, seeing Melissa so happy, getting these family photos. I wish someone would love me like that. The kind of love worth rearranging your life for." The words escaped before she could censor them, hanging vulnerably in the air between them. Sarah immediately regretted the unprofessional admission, but James didn't seem uncomfortable. Instead, he looked at her with unexpected intensity. Leaning slightly closer so only she could hear, he whispered, "Someone could, if you let them." The simple statement hit Sarah with unexpected force. Before she could respond, the waiter arrived with the check, breaking the moment. James excused himself to make a quick call home, leaving Sarah to process his words. The evening wound down, with team members departing in 2s and 3s until only Sarah and James remained outside the restaurant, waiting for their respective rideshares. "I should apologize for my comment earlier," James said, breaking the silence. "It was inappropriate." Sarah shook her head. "No, it was honest. That's rare these days. Still, you're my boss. There are boundaries." "There are," she agreed. "But sometimes boundaries need to be reconsidered." Their eyes met, and something unspoken passed between them, possibility, potential, the recognition of 2 souls who might understand each other. "My ride is here," James said as a car pulled up to the curb. "Thank you for including me tonight." "James," Sarah called as he opened the car door. "Would you and your children like to join me for brunch this Sunday? There's a place near the park with excellent pancakes." His smile was answer enough, but his words confirmed it. "We'd like that very much." As Sarah watched his car disappear into the night, she felt something she hadn't experienced in years, hope. Not just for romance, but for connection, for a life that balanced ambition with affection, success with significance. The following weeks brought changes no one at Reynolds Marketing could have predicted. Sarah and James maintained absolute professionalism at work, but Sundays became sacred, pancake brunches followed by park adventures, museum visits, and eventually, family dinners at Sarah's previously pristine apartment, now adorned with children's artwork and the occasional forgotten toy. Emma and Michael approached their relationship with the straightforward acceptance only children can manage. To them, Sarah was simply the lady who knew the best ice cream shops and never tired of reading bedtime stories. They didn't question why she started appearing in their lives or why their father smiled more when she was around. 3 months after that fateful dinner, Sarah made another uncharacteristic decision. She requested a meeting with the company president and proposed a restructuring that would move James to a different department, reporting to another executive. "May I ask why?" the president inquired, studying her carefully. "His work under your leadership has been exceptional." "That's precisely why he deserves this promotion," Sarah replied smoothly. "And to be completely transparent, I believe there may be a personal conflict of interest developing." The older woman's eyes twinkled with understanding. "I see. Well, we certainly wouldn't want to lose either of you. Consider it approved." That evening, Sarah invited James to dinner, just the two of them, at the same restaurant where everything had changed. "I have news," she said once they were seated. "As of Monday, you'll be heading the creative team for digital marketing, reporting directly to Victor." James set down his water glass. "That's a significant promotion." "You've earned it," Sarah said sincerely. "Your work has been outstanding." "And the timing is coincidental?" he asked, his perceptive gaze meeting hers. Sarah took a deep breath. "No. I requested the change because I'd like to explore what's happening between us without professional complications." The smile that spread across James's face made her heart race. "I've been hoping you'd say something like that." "I'm not sure what I'm doing," she admitted. "My track record with relationships is abysmal, and you come with 2 amazing children who deserve stability. It's complicated and terrifying, Anne." "Sarah," James interrupted gently, reaching across the table to take her hand. "Life is complicated. Love doesn't have to be. I'm not asking for promises or guarantees. I'm just asking for a chance." "A chance," she repeated, turning the concept over in her mind. "I think I can manage that." 6 months later, Sarah found herself sitting on a blanket in the park, watching James chase Emma and Michael across the grass, their laughter carrying on the summer breeze. Her laptop remained closed in her bag, a small miracle for a Sunday afternoon. "Got you," James called, scooping Michael into his arms and spinning him around while the boy shrieked with delight. Emma collapsed on the blanket beside Sarah, breathless from running. "Dad's it again. He's always it." "That's because he lets himself get caught," Sarah whispered conspiratorially. "He thinks you don't notice, but I do." Emma giggled. "That's because he loves us." "Yes," Sarah agreed, smoothing the girl's wind-blown hair. "He certainly does." James joined them, setting Michael down and dropping onto the blanket with exaggerated exhaustion. "I surrender. These kids are too fast for me." "Poor old Dad," Emma teased, climbing onto his lap. Michael snuggled against Sarah's side, his small hand finding hers with the easy affection that still amazed her. "Sarah, are you coming for story time tonight?" "If you'd like me to," she replied, meeting James's gaze over the children's heads. "We always want you there," James said softly. Later that night, after stories had been read and children tucked into bed, Sarah and James sat on his porch swing, watching fireflies dance in the gathering darkness. "I never thought I could have this," Sarah confessed, her head resting against his shoulder. "I was so focused on climbing the corporate ladder, I didn't realize what I was missing." "And what's that?" James asked, his arm tightening around her. "Balance. Purpose beyond quarterly reports. The kind of joy that has nothing to do with professional accomplishments." She turned to face him. "Thank you for whispering those words that night. For making me brave enough to let someone love me." "I should be thanking you," he countered. "After Diane died, I thought that chapter of my life was closed forever. I was existing, not living, going through the motions for the kid's sake." Sarah placed her hand against his cheek. We saved each other, then. I think that's how it's supposed to work, James said, leaning forward to kiss her gently. 1 year to the day after their dinner at Bellini's, James brought Sarah back to the same restaurant. This time, Emma and Michael accompanied them, dressed in their Sunday best and vibrating with barely contained excitement. "Why are you two so giggly tonight?" Sarah asked suspiciously as they studied their menus. "No reason," Emma replied with exaggerated innocence that fooled no one. After their meals arrived, James cleared his throat. "I have something I'd like to say." The children immediately fell silent, watching with wide, expectant eyes. "Sarah, when you first hired me, I was just trying to keep my head above water, balancing work with single parenthood, still healing from loss. I never expected to find love again, especially not with my brilliant, beautiful boss." Sarah felt heat rise to her cheeks as he continued. "This past year has shown me that second chances aren't just possible, they can be even more profound because you enter them with open eyes and a grateful heart." He reached into his pocket and withdrew a small velvet box. "You once said you wished someone would love you enough to rearrange their life for you. I already have, and I'd do it again every day if you'll let me." He opened the box to reveal a vintage sapphire ring surrounded by tiny diamonds. "Sarah Matthews, will you marry me and officially become part of our family?" Emma and Michael have already voted yes. The children nodded enthusiastically, Michael adding, "We really, really want you to say yes." Through tears of joy, Sarah looked at the three faces watching her expectantly, the family she never knew she needed until they showed her what was missing in her carefully constructed life. "Yes," she whispered, then louder, "Yes, absolutely yes." As James slipped the ring onto her finger, applause erupted around them. The restaurant staff appeared with champagne and sparkling cider for the children, apparently part of the conspiracy all along. Later that night, after tucking two overtired but ecstatic children into bed, Sarah and James stood in the kitchen of what would soon be their shared home. "I never believed in fairy tales," Sarah admitted, admiring how the ring caught the light. "I thought women had to choose, career or family, ambition or love. The best stories aren't about choosing one path or another," James replied, pulling her close. "They're about finding the courage to forge your own." Sarah thought about the journey that had brought them here, from a whispered comment at a team dinner to this moment of perfect certainty. "You know what the strangest part is? I'm still the same ambitious, driven person I always was. I haven't changed who I am." "You haven't needed to," James said. "You've just expanded who you are. There's a difference." As they stood together in the quiet kitchen, Sarah realized the void she'd carried for so long had been filled, not by sacrificing her identity or ambitions, but by opening herself to possibilities beyond the narrow definition of success she'd clung to for years. Sometimes the most profound changes begin with the smallest moments, a whispered truth, a chance taken, a heart open just enough to let love find its way in. For Sarah and James, it began with 7 words spoken softly across a dinner table: "Someone could, if you let them." And she had. If this story touched your heart, please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories that remind us what truly matters in life. Sometimes the greatest love stories aren't about perfect people finding each other, but about real people choosing each other every day, through all of life's complications and challenges.